Hello, Jin Xiao. How are you and go home? My name is Joey Arnold, original oatmeal. My pretend Vietnamese name is Yao Vien. No, Yao Vien means teaser. But my pretend Vietnamese name is Wing Hale, original understanding. I teach English for FYG. FYG. I teach English for FYG. That's Fellowship Youth Group. If you want to know more, you can go to facebook.com/FY group. Right now, I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about myself and to make some clarifications in case you don't understand what is going on in my life. If you want to understand me, I just wanted to say a few things about me because I feel that a lot of people may not understand who I am and what's going on in my life, and I feel that I owe it to my fans an explanation for my behavior or something like that. I just want people to understand a few things. I want people to know that I'm not a complainer, even when it sounds like I am. I want to give you a quick summary of my life, especially the past year that I've been in Vietnam. I want you to know that I'm doing okay. I'm a teacher, Giáo viên tiếng Anh, and I'm okay. I teach English for people. Sometimes I have students and sometimes I don't. Sometimes they give me money and sometimes they don't. And it's okay. Life is always full of those kinds of surprises. Life is always going up and down, and we just have to deal with it. We just have to roll with the punches. We just gotta handle whatever that life gives us. I mean, what else are you going to do? I want to talk a little slow for people who may not understand English enough, but I don't want this video to be too boring for the people that can understand me. So I kind of have to talk in medium speed, but that's kind of hard to do. And life is kind of hard like that sometimes, but we just got to deal with it. So right now, it is the 4th of March. I believe it's my younger sister's birthday, so happy birthday, sister Crystal and Arnold. I don't know how old you are, but I know that every year we get a little older and a little smarter in our lives. Sometimes we don't always get smarter, but we should. We certainly should. So this is a really quick video, I think. I always say that, but then I end up making a really long video, and that's kind of sad. If you want to know more about me, you can email me, originaloatmeal@gmail.com. That's my nickname. Don't wear it out. So it's 2014 right now. So I've been in Vietnam for about 15 months now. Since the 29th of November 2012. That's how long I've been in Vietnam. I came back then. In 2012 I came. So a quick summary of my life is I was born in 1985 on the 11th of February on a Monday, about 6 a.m. from my mother. And I was homeschooled, and I overcame a lot of problems growing up. Like, I was partly deaf, and I had different problems like a Treacher-Collins syndrome that deforms your mouth and your eyes, and I had like dyslexia, or maybe I still have it, and a little bit of a what do you call it, like autism, where you have problems with interacting with other people, social settings, you know, different things like that. Partly deaf, so I learned how to talk incorrectly because I couldn't hear the words correctly growing up. I had speech therapy, and I was homeschooled. That means my mother taught me home, at home. So that's homeschool until high school, and I would go and I would take tests, and teachers thought that I would never pass the 6th grade. The 6th grade, that's Xiao, 6th grade, and like people thought that I was mentally challenged, and some people still think that I'm still, retarded and stuff like that, and haters will always hate. So what are you gonna do about that? You can't really stop that, but you always have to continue, and that's what I'm trying to say with my story. And it's very important to remember that I'm not just a person who just cries, even though people say I'm just a person that likes to just tell everybody my problems. But I feel that we can always learn from our problems and from the mistakes that I make, that you make, that we all make. So we should talk about it, and we also should confront problems, confront things. Like if I see you doing something wrong, I want to tell you. And I want to say to you, I think you're doing something wrong. Confrontation is that. That's what confrontation is, and it's very important. Accountability is important, confrontation, transparency, honesty. Honesty is very important, and character, integrity. All these things are very important, so I tell stories so that people will know about these things. Like, I tell people that Kathy stole my bike. You may have heard about that story, and I tell people that the pagoda kicked me out, or they were trying to kick me out, even though they promised that I could stay and teach there, and they need me, but then they say they don't need me, and that happens in a lot of different places. English clubs and schools and centers in Vietnam where I go there, and then they like me because I'm a native English speaker, teacher, tutor from America. Nuke me, American. But then they turn around and they change their mind, they break their promises, and then that's bad. And then I get upset, and then I want to tell everybody about it. But then other people say to me, you shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't really talk about it. And I understand how they feel, and I know that it's bad, but at the same time, it's not totally bad, and sometimes it's necessary to confront injustice. It's important to confront bad things and bad people and people who do bad things. And we should do that. We shouldn't let the robbers go free and the liars to continue lying. We shouldn't tolerate those kinds of things, because you know that one generation can tolerate it, and what one generation tolerates, the next generation propagates. That means the next generation allows it to happen more, and then it's more okay, because like one generation they tolerate it, it's like, oh yeah, it's okay to, for example, be gay, be homosexual, and then the next generation is like, yeah, okay, let's do it, and let's have the rights for them and stuff like that. And please don't send me bad emails that said, how dare you talk bad against the gay people. I don't hate anybody, including the gay people, or Obama, or black people, but I feel that certain things are right and certain things are wrong, and we should talk about it. So anyways, I say all that because it's very important, and I wanted to say it, and I hope you can understand. If you don't, then go ask me or ask other people about it, and I feel that it's very important. And now I want to go back to my story of my life very quickly. I was born in 1985 in a hospital, a Tualatin Valley hospital, like a maple syrup hospital, like most babies are, except, in certain countries or at certain times you may be born in a car. I was born in a hospital in Forest Grove, Oregon, the USA. And I had problems that I had to overcome, and I was homeschooled until high school, and I was always creative, and I thought when I was about 4 years old that my siblings were calling me an alien because I couldn't talk correctly, and I let my imagination run wild, and I just started pretending after that I really was an alien, even though I kind of thought and kind of knew that I was not an alien. I mean, I had a little bit of common sense, even when people think that maybe I don't have any common sense. I like to be creative, and I love basketball, so I started learning since I was 7 years old how to play basketball and riding a bicycle, and I started drawing and writing around that time, and just being really creative. So I started wanting to travel the world and help people since I was 8 years old back in 1993, travel the world, and I really wanted to marry my neighbor, Tiffany Russell Cumbo. And I met her when I was 5 years old, and I really loved her, and then one day she died when I was 18 years old, and she was 16. It was in 2003, and it was really sad, and that kind of broke my heart, and those kinds of things happen. And now I'm 29. Hi, mui zindoi. That's 29 years old, and so I'm at the end of my third decade, almost at the end of my third decade now, and I feel like I've learned a lot and made a lot of mistakes, but then there's a lot of things that I do that aren't always exactly mistakes, but other people look at it and think that they are mistakes, but they're not exactly. So I just want you to know that I really wanted to travel the world for the past 21 years, and I've lived in different states in America, and I went to Quebec, and I went on mission trips in Idaho, Quebec, and Hawaii, and I was involved in different ministries and churches and different things like that, and a homeschooling club, and sometimes I'm really, really busy in the course of my life with all these different clubs and sports and my own hobbies. Even if I didn't have anybody else to hang out with, which I did, I would still be busy, which I was, with all these different things. I like to write and draw and all these sports that I like to play and video games, and I can spend all day now on Facebook or YouTube or Blogspot. The internet is so big, and you can never get to the end of the internet. You know what I'm saying? And I can play a little guitar now and piano and sing a little and dance a little, and I can show you, and I have shown you a little in other videos. You can see a guitar right there. That's a guitar, and I could play a little, but I'm also a little hungry, and I want to eat some gumga, the chicken rice there. I paid a little more than $1 for that. In District 1, since I live in District 1 right now, that's about 30,000 VND, Vietnamese money. That's a little more than $1 USD, American money. Oh, God bless America, because God likes America. No, I don't know. But America tends to be one of the best because we tend to honor God more, and so God blesses countries. Kind of, but I'm not here to talk about that right now, so don't get me started on that. I'm just here to tell you about my story, and I keep on talking about other things, and I get so sidetracked, and there's so many different things that I want to say, and things that I tend to say in every video that I make. I mean, in the last few months or so, I've been making these kinds of videos that are almost purely promotional, and then you can get bored of it because you can hear the same thing over and over. Unless if you're patient enough to hear me out, and then you may realize that I don't actually say the same things completely. At least, not exactly. You know what I'm saying. I think you know what I'm saying. So, the story of my life is that I was born in 1985 in USA, and I was homeschooled, and I was always busy doing all these different things with myself, for myself, because I was always isolated, and I didn't have a lot of friends. But then as I got older, I would interact with people more, and I decided to go to high school to make more friends, and I had a nickname in the ghetto. I was born in like a pretend ghetto trailer park neighborhood in a small city, Forest Grove, which is like an hour from Portland. It's a big city in Oregon. Oregon is a state above California, and I was happy growing up in a small city instead of a big city, but now I tend to want to live in bigger cities because there's tends to be more opportunities in bigger cities. So I had a nickname called Cool Kid because I was like a kid that was really cool when I played basketball at the park in the ghetto. And then I went to high school a year late, and I had that nickname in high school still, and Cool Kid. People called me Cool Kid or Ghetto Joe, and eventually people started calling me like Oatmeal, like in college. Before that, a few people called me Oatmeal, like Bill and Janet Bailey's father called me Oatmeal Joe because I was always eating oatmeal, and that's still a really popular name, like Oatmeal, or now it's like Original Oatmeal because I'm totally original. At least I try to be, but then again, nobody's original and everybody copies everybody else. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I say you try your best to be original, but sometimes you just can't because you see somebody doing something really cool and you just want to copy that. You really want to copy that, and so it's like, well, why not? Why not copy that? I don't copy that. No, I want to copy that. But I tend, I'm original. I write songs that I can play on guitar and piano, and they're original songs that I've wrote, and I've wrote stories and made movies and drawn pictures and made up characters that are original. One of my characters is like Red Dog, and his full name is Mickey Moorhead, and he's really bad, and he's like a gangster. He really tries to. I'm Big Red Dog, and I've been hanging out here for so long, and I can't do this voice anymore. I was able to do this back in 2001, but man, a big gangster, but I'm growing too old to do this stuff. Being a stealer and a murderer, I'm too old for this. So I tend to just steal from old ladies now. I get too old for this, man. I can't do this anymore. I also had a guinea pig. I like cats, first of all, and then also dogs and guinea pigs. And I have a lot of wonderful stories that I want to tell people about my pets. Wonderful, beautiful, and horrible stories because sometimes bad things happen. But I had one guinea pig that was named Oreo because Oreo, because he looked like an Oreo. And I had a mouse named Cow because it was a female mouse that looked like a cow. And I had a guinea pig that looked like an Oreo, so her name was Oreo until I slept on her. And then the other guinea pig was Raw Raw Hercules Roberto. So I came up with the character for Raw Raw, and Raw Raw's like, hey everybody, I'm Raw Raw, and I really like to oh no, what's that? I'm really scared now. I really don't like it when people are really scared. I mean, I'm really scared. Because I am a guinea pig. You got to love me. And then there's also Nelson, the stupid neighbor. Hey, I'm Nelson, the stupid neighbor. Yeah, Nelson, the stupid neighbor. Yeah, I'm Nelson. And I guess those are the three main characters that I like the most, I guess. But back to my story of my life. Maybe I should have just started talking about my life in Vietnam, because I've already talked about my whole entire life in other videos before. But I guess I'll have to stop and make that video another time, because I've already started and it's already on the 20th minute almost right now. So I don't want to start over. I want to finish this for now and say, born in 1985, and I was homeschooled and involved in all these different clubs and things, and I went to high school, and then I went to college. Now, when I was in high school, I was involved as a girls basketball manager, and I recorded the video. I recorded video for the games of the girls basketball team, and I would be able to go with them and also helped out in their practices and whatever they needed, and it was a lot of work. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I really liked it, being a girls basketball manager, and also in the drama club and the Earth Club in high school, and I started going to the dance clubs. I mean, I started going to the school dances in high school, and then I worked at a camp in New York, and then I went to the college in the same place, Word of Life Bible Institute, in 2004 after graduating high school. And I graduated from the Word of Life Bible Institute in 2006. Is this a 2-year college? And I studied about psychology and sociology and, how to work with people. So like anthropology and angelology and theology and Christology and all these different things that have to do with how to work with people, how people think, like how to be a missionary, how to be a teacher, tutor, pastor, extraordinaire, entrepreneur, all these good things, business person, leader, disciplined person who can help other people, that can help other people. It's very important to do all these things, and I feel like it's very important. I can show you the world. Boom, 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 boom. What's up with that? What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? I went to a 2-year Bible college, and then I went to another college called Appalachian Bible College in West Virginia, and then I went home after that. I went back home to help my mother because my parents were divorced, or actually they were about to be divorced, and my mother didn't have work, and she was kind of disabled, and she needed help, and she had health problems, and she needed help, so I came home to help my mother, and I worked at a Salvation Army camp, and I gave all that money to my mother to help her, and then I was invited to be a part of Revolution Hawaii, and I thought I couldn't because I already promised my mother that I would spend a year, at least 1 year or more, supporting my mother, staying with my mother, because my mother was all alone. But then my mother said, go after your dreams, go to Hawaii, make a difference in Hawaii, go help out those poor people and the children, and do those things like you can, try your best, and I will be okay. And my mother, gave me her blessing, and I went. Eventually, I went, and I was living in Hawaii, and then I was going to help somebody in California after that in 2008, but then that didn't happen, and then I went back to work at the Salvation Army camp, Camp Karatli, Trestle Glen, and I was a wilderness counselor again for the second year, 2007, 2008, and it's one of my favorite jobs. If you don't know already, a counselor is like a teacher at a camp, and a camp is like an outdoor school, mostly during the summer and sometimes during the winter, and it's one of my favorite jobs. So I've been a counselor for 5 different years at different camps in different states in America, and it's a lot of fun to inspire and encourage and make a difference in the lives of young people, which young people are our tomorrow, so we want to take care of them because they will be the future leaders of our world, and we got to cultivate their minds and educate them the best that we can. We got to, or else we may wake up in a scenario really close to like The Walking Dead or a bunch of Dexters walking around, which I actually like Dexter, but I just mean like anarchy, where people decide things without the right amount of justice, and that could be really bad. That could be really bad, you know what I'm saying? And we just gotta make sure that the world doesn't fall apart. So it's important to take care of people. And so I like being a counselor, and that's what I was doing for 5 different years. And you know, I went to a 2-year Bible college, and then I went to another year of another college, and then I went home to help my mom, and I was working at another camp, a Salvation Army camp in Boring, Oregon, and then I did Revolution Hawaii, which is like a charity. Like I was a missionary for a year with the Salvation Army in Hawaii, and then I went back to work at the camp again in Oregon, Salvation Army camp. And then I was gonna go to California, but then I guess that was canceled or something. I guess that part of the story is kind of like a long story that I've talked a lot about in the past, in more specifics. But it didn't happen. I didn't go to California due to like missionary work or help out the Salvation Army. I was going to help the Salvation Army out in California, but then I guess maybe some of the people didn't want me to do that, or I'm not exactly sure, but I didn't go, and then I ended up living with my father back at the trailer that I was raised in Forest Grove, Oregon, where it all started, where I was raised, and I was there for about 2 months in like August and September 2008, and then I ended up moving to Portland, and I got my own apartment with the help of my younger sister, and I got 2 jobs. I was an after-school assistant and a dishwasher for about 5 months, and then they both fired me, and I don't know why. I guess I don't like at the school they didn't think I was a good worker, and I wasn't really supervising the children, but I thought I was, but they didn't think I was great, and I guess that kind of happens a lot. People look at me and they make assumptions and judgment, and some of it can be right to some extent, but some of it is not right, and I disagree when people don't like me. But it happens. It happens in life, and what are we going to do about it? But to move on, and oh man, it's hard, it's really hard, and because I had my own apartment, and I didn't want to move back in with my father. I felt like I'd be taking a step backwards. Like right now, I feel like if I go back to America right now, it's kind of like that. I'd be going backwards, and we shouldn't really do that. Not exactly. So I had 2 jobs for about 5 months, living on my own for the first time in 2008 and in 2009, and at the Kel's Irish restaurant where I was a dishwasher, I asked for less hours so that I could find other work, because I wanted more. I didn't want just 2 jobs. I wanted like 5 jobs or something, for more security and flexibility and stuff. And so I asked for less hours, and then they took me off the schedule and replaced me with a Mexican. And I felt really sad, and they never called me back. And I emailed them many times, and many months later they told me, oh, we're sorry about that or something. And I was like, and with the school, they thought I wasn't really being responsible enough to supervise the children, and then I was getting unemployment benefits for a few months, and then they stopped giving you unemployment benefits, and I was trying to find work, and sometimes I would help out with like churches, like Agape Church of Christ, and also like Salvation Army, and then I was really good, and I was a bell ringer with the Salvation Army, like 3 different times, 3 different years, and I was doing ministry with the Salvation Army a few times, like even as a basketball coach in a program, and helping out with the children programs at the Moore Street Corps. Is a Salvation Army like church community in a certain part of Portland, and I was really good friends with Blake Webb until he died, and I was really close to him, and I was actually like at his house when he died, and I felt like I could have saved him, and it's really sad, like seeing all the people die. In my life, it was Tiffany Cumbo, who I wanted to marry, but then she died in 2003, and then 2008, my uncle Jim Williams and my mother's father, my grandpa, my mother's father, Dick Moorhead, Richard Moorhead. He died. So my uncle and my grandpa died in the same year, 2008, and then my best friend Blake Webb died in 2010. Michael Jackson, 2009, which I have always wanted to be like Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan and Austin Powers and Harry Potter, and I want to fly like Red Bull gives you wings, and I want to be good to the last drop and have it your way, and all those good slogans like that. I want to be and better and more. I really do, but it's really hard sometimes, and sometimes I get discouraged by the way I look, and I'm like, oh no, my face is deformed. I'm a monster. But it's okay, because we have to be happy with what we got. And then I look at myself and I'm like, oh man, why is it so dirty? I look at my glasses and we can see all these wrong things. We can see all these wrong things about ourselves, but we should not be totally discouraged. We got to move on, and that's what was happening with me in about 2009 and then 2010, and I ended up working at another Salvation Army camp in Scotts Valley, California. So it's near San Jose, and it's about an hour from San Francisco. And I worked there, and then they fired me because they thought I was a bad influence or something. And then there was a really nice lady from the Salvation Army that went to the Moore Street Corps in Portland, and she let me stay at her house. And then I was looking for work, and then I wasn't really able to find work in 2010, in the fall of 2010, and then she was a really amazing older woman that was kind of like a grandmother or like a mother to me, and it was really important to learn from her, and especially since I needed a place to stay for free because I didn't have work. Her name is Charlotte Battle, but then I thought she was a little too controlling maybe, and I felt kind of trapped, and I wasn't really sure what to do, and I ended up moving back with my father in Forest Grove in 2011, around May and June, and that was a really interesting period in my life where I went back home, because back in 2008, I really thought that I would never go back home, especially when I lost my two jobs in 2009. I was like, man, I'm not going to go back home. But in 2011, I felt that it was the right decision to go back home. And I did it, and I had some help from my friend Matt Smith, and I was able to literally I took my stuff, and a couple trips to grab all my things and take it back home. And I did it without telling her, Charlotte Battle. Even to this day, I haven't talked to her yet, and maybe I should, but I feel kind of confused and mixed about those kinds of things. And I also wanted to see if I could literally sneak out without her knowing, or without her being there at the time when I was leaving, and I was able to do that, and then I was able to talk to a lot of old friends back in my hometown in Forest Grove, and that was really interesting. And I was working for my father for a year, from about the summer of 2011 until November 2012. And at one point, I met a girl online from the Philippines, and she asked me to teach English with her in Vietnam. So I came to Vietnam to teach English, because I've always wanted to travel the world since I was 8 years old. And also because I wanted to meet her, because I thought she was an interesting person. So I came to Vietnam, and the school said that they would hire me, and they promised me $1,000. And then when I came to Vietnam, I worked for 5 days, and then they didn't give me the money, and they fired me. Before they hired me, I worked for 5 days in Vietnam in Bac Ninh, which is about 20 kilometers from Hanoi. Hanoi is the capital in the north of Vietnam, and like the director sent me an email and said that I wasn't good at English, and that I'm only a tutor, not a teacher, and that I don't know how to do it. But he didn't know English, so I say to him, how do you know that I'm not good at English if you're not good at English yourself? I'm Giuliano. Goodbye. Okay, no, let's see. But you know, like, just really sad. I don't know. It's just like, and then I didn't have enough money to go back to America, and then there was a Vietnamese owner who already met me, and he said that I could live and sleep and eat and work at his restaurant, Papa Foods, in Bac Ninh, and I was teaching people English for free, and then I went to Hanoi in January 2013. Because I first came to Vietnam in the 29th of November, and I taught at the school for 5 days until the 4th of December 2012. So I was teaching at the New Star International Language Center, and then I was staying at Papa Foods, and I went to Hanoi to somebody's room, and teaching college students for free for about 2 weeks, and then I went to like a museum place, and I was teaching the staff and the owner at this museum in the Hoa Binh province, which is like a few hours south of Hanoi. And then I went to somebody's hometown, and I was there about a week, and then I stayed the night at a hotel for like $20 for one night, which is expensive for Vietnam, but things are more expensive in Hanoi than Saigon. And then somebody asked me to come to Saigon, and I've always wanted to come to Saigon, so I hopped in a plane. I bought a plane ticket, and on the 9th, like late at night on the 9th, and it was already like around, it was the Tet, the Lunar New Year that we get from China, and so like a lot of hotels were shutting down, and maybe they're raising the price because it's like the solar New Year, except it's the Lunar New Year, and it's really big in Asian countries, and people are going back to their hometown, just like how Mary and Joseph and Jesus went back to their hometown many years ago when Jesus Christ was born. Ask Christ to save you now, I think, but because he's the creator and savior. But like everybody was going back home, and it was kind of hard. But I got a hotel. I paid 400,000 VND for that one night, and I bought a plane ticket for about 1 million, and hopped on a plane Sunday night, the 10th of February 2013, and then a friend met me at the airport, and I was able to stay at the house, and then we went to their hometown, and then we went back, and then I met somebody else, this girl named Kathy, and then I went and I stayed at her house, and she had a spare room in District 8, and then she told me to buy a bicycle, like an electric bike, and I bought it. And then she said that she had a friend that, like, two girls, it was her friend's 2 daughters that really needed to practice, with learning how to ride a bicycle and learning how to ride a motorbike. And she asked me if I could sell it to them, and I said no, but then I thought about it, and then one day she just gave it to them, and then she never gave me money for it. And, that bike was around 4 million or so. B&D, like around $200, and I was really sad, and to this day I continue to like tell everybody, and I try to email her, and she says I don't owe you any money, because I think she thought because she bought me what do you call it, Vietnamese classes, but then I thought her mother was paying for it, but it ended up coming from like my money, so she's like, that's the money that you got from the bike that I stole from you. here's the money, but now you have to, take these Vietnamese classes so you don't actually get the money. Or like there was also like she took me to the what do you call it? To somebody's house, and we were getting like some nice meals for like a few weeks. And I met her, like around like the 17th of February when I was really new to Saigon, when I first came to Saigon, which was on the 10th, and then I met her on the 17th of February 2013, and then I was living at her house for about a month until April, and then she didn't want to be my friend anymore. She thought I was like too stingy because I didn't want to give her any money. Even though I think that she stole my bike, but she doesn't see it that way. And well, I'm really sad about that. And then she told me to leave, and then I was staying at a hostel on Pham Nu Lao. I was staying at the Saigon Backpacking Hostel, and then I was there for a month, for April 2013, and then I moved, and I was always asking people for help for all these different things, like help for like where do I live, and how do I do the visa, and where do I ride, where do I buy a bicycle, and all these questions. And a lot of people, they don't like it when I ask too many questions, or like stop asking questions, or when I'm complaining about my life, and they're like, stop complaining, stop talking about it, keep it personal. And I say, no, I'm a public man. I'm gonna live in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? But so I ended up moving to my own room with the Vietnamese family in the Binh Thanh district. So oh man, this is not really a quick story. Man, I was supposed to make a really quick video, but I never stopped talking. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but a quick summary again of my life in Vietnam. It starts in the 29th of November. I'm living at a hotel that the school is paying for in Bac Ninh for 5 days, and then I'm staying at the what do you call it, restaurant, Papa Foods, in December and January, in January 2013, and then somebody's room, some college students in Hanoi, and then like a museum, Philly's place in Hoa Binh for a week, and then somebody's hometown for another week, and then on the 10th of February, first like a hotel for one night, and then Saigon, and somebody's house in the Thong Binh district, and then their hometown, which is like a few hours away from Saigon, like north, and I can't remember where, but and then a few more days in the Tam Binh district at a girl's house, and then to another girl's house in District 8, Kathy, for a little bit of February and March, and a little bit of April until like the 8th of April, and then all that was like free, basically, even though some people say nothing is free. And then in April, I was living at what do you call it, a hostel, the Saigon what do you call it, Saigon Backpackers Hostel, which was around 2 million, a little more than 2 million VND per month. That's around $200. Did I say 2 million? Like 4 million. Around 4 million VND per month. That's about $200. It was about $7 per night. But then you have to also count for the laundry, which was kind of expensive. So it's about $7 a day, plus the cost for laundry. So that was around 200, a little more than 200, about 4 million. And then I went to a room. I had my own apartment room in the Binh Thanh district, and that was around like less than $150. So that was like around 3 million. And then the Tan Binh district, that was around 700,000, which is like $35. And then like District 12 after that, which is around like 500,000, which is like $25. And then the Tan Phu district, and that was like $10, which is like 200,000 BND. And now I live in District 1, and it's like no money because I teach English with them, for them. And I also started going to like the pagoda in August, and I had my own class at the Leaf Pagoda, Chula Gavap, and then and I thought people liked me there. And I made some videos about it already, but then like I guess like last week they started hating me or something, and I can tell you more about that another time. But basically, I'm not really happy because sometimes, I mean, I'm happy, but I'm not happy when like people break their promises and they say, okay, I will do this, unconditionally. Even though, I know obviously humans don't understand what the word unconditional means. Sometimes I feel like certain things should be unconditional, not conditional. A conditional promise is, I will if you do this. I will do this if you do that. And a lot of people assume that everything is like that. Like we kind of assume that, well, even if I say I will do this, if you do this, then I don't have to. I can break my promise. But technically speaking, if you are making an unconditional promise, you should not do that. I know you feel justified to do it. You make the excuses and reasons to do it. But you shouldn't. Shouldn't exactly do it. So now, I will see you later. I'm sorry that this video is so long, but then again, I'm not really sorry. I would like to talk a little longer about the different things in my life, but I guess for now, I will go. I will go. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna do anything special to this video. I'm kind of in a hurry. I could add special effects or try to put words here, like subtitles to help you understand what I'm saying, but I feel kind of tired and just want to upload it and forget about it, make a new one with the same things next week. Upload another video where I say basically the same thing next week. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I'm not exactly sure, but for now, this is the video that you're getting, and I hope you can learn a little bit about me and how the world should work. Unless if you disagree, then you can let me know in the comments, or you can email me. Like I said earlier, I teach English for FYG, Fellowship Youth Group. And if you want to know more, you can go to the Facebook page for FYG, which is facebook.com/FY group. FY group. And you can learn more, and you can ask me whatever you want. You can email me too if you want to talk to me, or if you want to learn more English. But I guess if you already watched this video and you understand everything I'm saying, maybe you don't need to learn more English. But then again, you can always get better. Even I can get better. So never stop dreaming. Never stop going after your dreams. Don't give up even when the going gets tough. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't lose faith. Obviously, I can say more, but for now, this is suffice. This is enough. For you to know that I'm not crazy, I'm not a lunatic. I understand that a lot of things that I do can be considered really crazy, and I can lose a lot of friends when I do certain things, because people think I'm complaining and crying. And I understand the risks involved, but I still do certain things for a lot of different reasons, because I feel like, certain things are important, like confrontation, accountability. Like if somebody does me wrong, I want to tell the person, I think you're wrong. Even though you may say, well, you need to be polite, but I also need to let people know when they're not right. It's very important, and I want people to learn from my life. So I want people to know everything about my life to some extent, because there are lessons that you can really learn. Very important. So anyways, remember my email, originaloatmeal@gmail.com. Goodbye, good night. See you later on the website. I'm Original Oatmeal, Joey Arnold. Eat some oatmeal. Follow Christ. Follow Jesus Christ. Buddha is not real.